Hi, my name is Dave Johansson, and I'm here with Blossom Hill Crafts in Los Gatos, California. We're going to do a demonstration today on doing an altered form. It's a flat form. You could use it as a serving dish or decorative ware. You can see in the screen in front of you right now the kind of work we're going to be talking about. The demonstration will be done by Cynthia Lane with a voiceover by Joanne Bryce. So we're going to move right into that and get started now.
Cynthia has centered clay on the wheel, about 2.5 pounds, and you're centering it to make the wall of the altered form. And she's centering it and moving it down and out. This form is thrown with no bottom, so a little bit of clay goes a longer way. Dropping the hole in the center. It's going to go all the way to the back. Whenever you start a project that's new to you, making a certain shape or kind of thing the first time, you should start out on the small side. You can always move up once you've figured out what the challenges are. The important thing when throwing a form with no base is to make sure as you move the pot out, you keep the wall well centered and down low so that you're in control of the clay. As she's moving the clay out, she's reducing her speed naturally because we know that the outer edges of the potter's wheel are going faster than the center. So as you can see, that roughly 2.5 pound piece of clay made a fairly wide ring. No bottom to worry about. Just cleaning out the inside so she doesn't have to deal with that stuff when she starts making her wall. The wall is thrown just like the wall of any pot, and because you're altering this form, you want to make sure that you have a good, strong rim. If you throw the rim really, really thin and then start altering it, you risk it cracking or splitting. So good, strong, condensed rim is important for any altered form. So it's important for any piece at all. All right, now that the wall is completed, she's using a little credit card to shape the outside, and the credit card has a little notch in the bottom. And that little notch eventually will create a little base at the bottom of the wall. Right now she's just cleaning it up. Going to dry it a little bit. This will get loud now. but we have a pre-made one, so we're actually drying this one. We're faking drying. You dry the upper part of the wall, and you have to keep the lower part of the wall wet because that's what you're going to attach. So you're going to add a little bit of moisture both on the inside and the outside as you dry the wall, keeping it moist so that when you attach it to the slab base, it can stick together with the base. So this is the piece that was thrown earlier. The wall has been dried. And now she is going to prepare it to attach to the slab. The bottom edge has been wired so that she can lift it up. Here's the slab that was thrown earlier. It's about 3/8 of an inch, slightly above a quarter. She's put a little decorative design in the bottom. That's up to you. Again, adding a little moisture to the bottom wall, keeping the top stiff enough so that it's manageable. I'm going to wire it one more time because every time you add water, the pot's going to re-stick a little bit. And you want to make sure it's nice and free. Now you see she's going to change the shape and make it go a little oval. And here, it's just whatever you want. One oval, or from the pieces you saw originally, which we'll show again, you can make it different shapes. So this is a long, skinny oval, and it's lifted and placed on the slab. And at this point, you still have opportunities to move it about and shape it slightly. But you should get most of the shape done before you move it onto the slab. And now she's taking and just with her finger securing the base and the wall together. Remember, that base is a slab, the wall was thrown, and the bottom edge was kept wet. There's methods of throwing these pots without a slab bottom, by throwing the bottom and then doing these sort of cuts and squeezing it together. I find that the cracking rate on that process is very high, whereas this is much more reliable. As she's cutting away the slab, she's leaving a little bit of an edge. She's not cutting to the wall, but to the little bit of flared base that was left when she threw the wall. And you'll see why in a minute. Take off the excess. So now you have an oval pot with a slab bottom. Now she's securing the outside by moving the clay up slightly into the wall. If the wall is dried, you can do that, or if you feel you need to, you can put your other hand on the inside and brace the bottom edge of the wall as you go around. But that clay is moving up from the edge of the slab into the bottom wall of the thrown form. Now the little cute little expired credit card comes in handy. The little notch, there are also wooden tools that have those notches in them. But basically, you just take that little notch and you're going to just run it along the bottom, and it's going to take off excess clay and smooth and shape the bottom edge. And that little edge is a nice finish to the form, and it's also the spot up to you will apply wax. So this pot has no traditional foot rim. It has a foot rim that sits right at the bottom of the wall. And you're going to go over it a few times till it's nice and smooth and secure. Inside, you're going to again smooth. Cynthia's using a bone or plastic tool. You could use a wooden tool, or you could use your finger. Fingers make wonderful tools. Cynthia's pre-made some little handles, which she's textured, and she's going to attach them. So handles are frequently extremely appropriate on a pot like this. They can be side handles. They could be handles over the top if you wanted a basket look. These are just going to be little handles at the end of the pot. And you know you're going to score. Remember, that's dry clay there. It's slightly dry, so it needs to be well scored and a little moisture added to it. Attaching a handle, you always support the inside of the pot as you're pushing the handle in from the outside. Frequently when you attach handles, it's a good idea that the pot dry a little more slowly than one without handles, so you might want to just drape a little plastic over the top. You don't want to tuck it under because you do want the pot to dry, but give it a little shower cap. Or you can wax the joint too. Wax will burn away in the bisque and it will allow the joint to dry more slowly and then disappear. One thing which is a good design element on this pot is the handles don't protrude above the edge of the rim. They can, there's no rule that they can't, but frequently in terms of usage, handles that come up too high become a storage or handling issue. Easy to crack off and chip because they're out there. And of course, the most important thing about this pot is to remember to sometime turn it over and get your name on the bottom.
Great. Again, my name is Dave Johansen, and I'm very thankful to Cynthia for doing this demonstration. I want to go back over and take a look at the finished products. And just say that, you know, the sky's the limit to the shapes that you can create here. Just remember to get your pot dry on the edges and keep it wet on the bottom before you take it off the bat. And I want to give you a close-up look at this neat little tool that Cynthia made out of her credit card. It's a little out of focus there, but you get the idea. There it goes. It focuses in. Thanks again, and I hope to see many of these around the studio.